way out in front. Andersen makes the save. Oh, Frederik Andersen just absolutely robbing Shayne. Edmondson trying to get it through traffic. It's blocked, and it's a skate race. And here comes Taylor Hall. Hall in the back and forth. He scores! What a move! Taylor Hall put it on the highlight reel. A chance here for Detroit. Andersen denies the opportunity for Shayne. Net out in front, and it had to be ready. As long rebound, Gostisbehere drives and scores! Shayne Gostisbehere continues his brilliance against the Red Wings this year. His third goal this season against Detroit puts Carolina up 4-2.
Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast, everyone. I am Adam Gold, and Hurricanes do it again, 5-2 to beat the Detroit Red Wings. They are 5-4 winners over the Tampa Bay Lightning on Thursday. 2 games out of the chute after the Olympic break on aggregate 10-6. You don't like to allow 6 goals in 2 games, but the Lightning and Detroit's really good. And Carolina really just went on mental walkabout for about 3 minutes of the second period. Actually, it was a little bit longer than that in terms of Detroit having a whole bunch of good opportunities that Freddie Andersen had to deal with, which, honestly, and I'm glad Freddie got one of the stars in the building. He was my first star because I think Freddie, again, it's when you make the save sometimes, but I thought Andersen was great. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Right now, business. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it is for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should check them out for all of your exterior home improvement needs. All right. First of all, big picture of the game. Carolina was excellent tonight. And if it wasn't for, again, it wasn't like Detroit didn't have opportunities to score. They're a good team. There's a reason they are, checks notes, 4th in the Atlantic, 74 points. They'd be 2nd in the Metro. They are legit. So this was never supposed to be easy. Hurricanes do take 5 out of a possible 6 points from the season series. We had an overtime loss in Detroit. You may remember the game where Andrew Kopp cross-checks Shayne Gostisbehere out of the crease. He goes down. The pass goes across to Kopp, who's wide open for the goal. That was and Freddie Andersen was in net for that. But the Hurricanes, other than for about 5 or so minutes of the second period, they were good tonight. Way better in the first. I love the way Carolina played the first. 2-0. You get the late power play goal. And then I think they just got mad in the locker room after 2 periods because it really shouldn't have been a game. Should have been a blowout. But the Hurricanes only had 3, and then the 2 goals at 4-on-4. And all of a sudden you go, wow, we got to sweat this sucker out. And then in the third period, they scored twice in the first 5.5 minutes. And then they took the entire sting out of the game. And then they just massaged this one to the end. Detroit really didn't do a ton the rest of the way. And they never had a chance to pull the goalie because Carolina was on a 4-minute power play where was it Edmondson, who had a tough night, went off for high-sticking Taylor Hall. I want to talk about that play in a minute. And basically, there was like 5 minutes left, a little bit less than 5 minutes, and Carolina was on a power play for 4 with a 3-goal lead. I mean, they never pulled Cam Talbot. By the way, Talbot played very well, gave up 5 goals. Kind of feel bad for him, but honestly, I think that's how good Carolina was tonight. Could have had more. Hit 2 posts. Of course, if Jackson Blake doesn't hit that post, Eric Robinson probably doesn't score the next goal. You know how I don't like to say, well, they should have scored 7 because they hit 2 posts, but Carolina certainly could have scored more goals than they did tonight. Did I mention? Yeah, I did mention the Aluminum Company of North Carolina right there. Even if I don't mention it, it's right there on the screen for you. All right, big picture. Let's just kind of roll through the game real quick because Carolina got off to I thought, a good start, even though at the very beginning of this game, it was like 2 shifts in a row where Detroit had a couple of opportunities. And a really good one, I don't know how many people remember it, but I don't know if it was the first shot or the second shot of the game. Might have been the first. Alex DeBrincat, who has absolutely crushed Carolina in his career. Basically, he's averaging like a 50-goal season against Carolina. And he had one really good chance from basically right at the left faceoff dot where Andersen has to make a low glove save. Just a sneaky good save that Andersen made right off the bat in the game. There were actually 2 saves in that sequence, but the first one was the more difficult one. And then the Stankoven line took the ice and had the best shift of the night. I think they were on the ice for about a minute. They just lived in Detroit's, and not only did they live in their end, they lived behind the net. They were just constantly on every single puck. Blake actually on that shift had a pass to Taylor Hall across, went like right through the crease, and I believe Hall just whiffed on it. Later in the period, Seth Jarvis had a breakaway that was saved by Talbot. And then, probably 2 minutes later, Taylor Hall blocks a pass. Simon Edvinsson was trying to get the pass across to, I don't know who he was passing to. It might have been to Mo Sider, his defense partner. Hall blocks the pass. It goes the other way. Hall skates onto it. Great wheels from a guy in his mid-30s. And he makes a great move, and he beats Talbot for 1-0. And then Carolina gets the power play goal at the end of the period. So, and the Aho goal wasn't really supposed to be a shot. It was supposed to be a pass. He had Seth Jarvis in the back door. Edvinsson was there. Trip Tracy told me in the pregame show to watch out for Simon Edvinsson. Well, he was noticeable tonight, but maybe not the way he wanted. Because his turnover leads to the Hall goal, and then it's really an own goal, but it's credited to Sebastian Aho. By the way, the power play goal, Carolina's power play continues to do well. I mean, they tried to score late in the game with double minor, but they didn't. But it's still 1 for 3 tonight. Actually, I think technically it's 1 for 4 tonight, but they only had like 10 seconds of a power play. But even 1 out of 4, Carolina's power play continues to produce. And as we were joking on Twitter, the Canes have to have a dedicated power play coach. Twitter, I think that account has been suspended. Certainly haven't heard a lot from them over time. Hurricanes are now in the top half of the league on the power play. They're like at 22% on the power, and that's like if you're operating at about 22, 23%, like anything over 20%, if you get to in the playoffs, if you can do that, that's fine. You don't need it to be Edmonton. You just need it to be like effective enough, and you're good. Really, as I've always said this, the more important thing is the penalty kill. And we know Carolina's penalty kill will be good when it's needed. It's been good. So, but you get the power play goal, you go into the locker room 2-0 up, and that's really the way the game was played for me. I thought Carolina was way better in the first period than Detroit. An interesting thing, I was looking at before the game, the Red Wings are a combined minus 17 in both the first and third periods. Carolina led 2-0. In the second period, Detroit is a plus 13. Carolina gets the goal to make it 3-0 through Eric Robinson. And then in the second period, Detroit really did push. I didn't think they were awesome, but they got just too many good scoring opportunities. And by the way, all before the goal, Patrick Kane, great chance. Freddie makes a save. Andersen stops Dominic Shayne for the second time in the game. You heard both saves on Dominic Shayne. Andrew Kopp, breakaway. JT Comfer all alone in front. And Andersen just came up with the goods every single time. Then 4-on-4, I mean, I can't blame him on the Edmondson goal or the Kane goal, which I still believe he has not seen. I mean, that was really on Carolina, just mismanaging the puck. Carolina's normally good when there's more ice. They're great at 3-on-3. I think they're good at 4-on-4. Tonight, however, they were a mess. It was no good at 4-on-4. We had 2 4-on-4 situations. Carolina was just no good the first time. Second time, they were better. It wasn't awesome, but they were better the second time. Anyway, that 4-on-4 at the end of the second period was just awful. It's as though they forgot how to play. And then Jackson Blake with one of the worst turnovers you'll ever see that ultimately leads to the Kane goal. So I was sitting there through 2 periods going, the Hurricanes have dominated this game. And now we're going to have to sweat this one out. But you come to the third period, and the Stankoven line is back doing their thing on the ice. I made this comparison. It's really a comparison, not an analogy. That Jackson Blake reminds me of Linus Caldwell. If I have any Ocean's movies fans out there, me, I love those, all 3 of them. I could probably recite the entire movie. Do I look 50 to you? Do I look 50 to you? Anyway, so he reminds me of Linus Caldwell because he will pick your pocket. And Blake was laughably good tonight at taking the puck back. Whether he lost it or not, he was going to get the puck. I don't know how many times it happened tonight. It was crazy. He was so good on the puck tonight. And Blake takes the puck, finds Shayne Gostisbehere, who was coming in from the left point, diagonally toward the goal. He finds him just basically top of the circle. Gostisbehere's shot makes it 4-2. And you could tell that the last 3 minutes of the second period was gone. Carolina came out angry. And then odd man chance, Blake to the right of the goal, has options. I think looked at them and then beat Talbot. I think it was between the body and the blocker arm. Either way, goal number 17 for Blake. He had a 2.9, a goal and an assist tonight. He was great. For me, he was the best skater. Even with the bad turnover, he was the best skater. Gostisbehere was right there, but I thought Hall was great. So many guys played well tonight. It was just a really, really strong performance, top to bottom, start to finish. And that was basically it. There were a couple of good saves that Andersen had to make the rest of the way, but really nothing crazy. But 27 saves, and that's really where I want to kind of begin, going through talking points. Who knows what Andersen's, second half, we'll call it the second half, post-Olympic part of the schedule is going to be like. We have no idea. But this was a very good start because this was solid. This was big save when you need him. This is, for the most part, I thought Freddie maybe allowed a couple of rebounds, but for the most part, knew how to just kind of take the steam out of the game, played the puck pretty well when he had to. It was just everything Carolina wants out of their goalie tonight. And after a game after which Brandon Bussi didn't play all that well in the win over Tampa. Played well in the third period when he had to. But he didn't play a great game. And I'm not saying that this changes the dynamic of the goaltending situation at all. Brandon Bussi has earned number 1 goalie status, and I'm sure he's going to play more than Freddie is the rest of the way. But you still need 2 goalies in your last 23 games now. You're going to need both of them. And if you want to finish first in the East, if you want everybody to start a series in Raleigh, you're going to need both goalies playing well. Andersen played well. at the Olympics, .913 save percentage in 3 games. Didn't play against the U.S., but still, he played well. And it would be great if Andersen could just be good the rest of the way, because Carolina has a chance. You're not always going to look like you did tonight. You're not always going to score like you did Thursday night. But Carolina plays with maximum effort just about every game. They're getting contributions up and down the lineup. We'll talk about Gostisbehere in a minute. If they can get good goaltending, they have a great chance to get ahead. Well, they're already ahead, to stay ahead of Tampa and make Tampa come through here. Now, the Hurricanes' schedule the rest of the way is pretty daunting, right? You still have 2 games with Montreal. You've got 3 more games. I think 3 with the Islanders, or maybe 2. You got 2 with the Islanders. You got 3 with Pittsburgh. So they still have a bunch of games. Let's see who else. 3 with Pittsburgh, 3 with Columbus, who's obviously playing well. 2 with Montreal, 2 with the Islanders. And we have 15 of our last 23 games are on the road. You're going to need both goalies. You're going to need both goalies playing well. Tonight was a great sign because Andersen played well. All right. Taylor Hall, real quick about the double minor. I'm not sure that Taylor Hall isn't playing the long game here, because I'm listening to the post game and Hall is like, yeah, basically it's a prosthetic tooth. It's not really it's not an implant, but it's something where the tooth just comes off. So did he set Edvinsson up for a double minor? Because the tooth comes out, it's an injury because his tooth broke, shows it to the referee, and then just puts his mouthpiece on, back in, and goes back on the ice. What a baller. Tremendous. A tremendous play. I mean, you could argue that it's a fake injury. It's just, his fake tooth fell out. That's tremendous. All right. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. The Stankoven line was great again. Second straight game, that line was just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Electric. Rod Brindamore said it's been their best line going. Look, a little bit of an advantage in that line doesn't have to play against the other team's top. That's what the Aho, Jarvis, Svechnikov line and the Stahl line have to do. You're playing against the other team's, top 2 lines. And for Stahl drew the Larkin line, and Aho drew the other big line. Forget who though. I guess Kopp. And I thought both the Aho line and the Stahl line were good. But the Blake Stankoven Hall line, holy smokes, they were awesome. Again, second straight game. I keep saying yesterday, Thursday against Tampa, I thought that line was first period heavy. Like, they were so noticeable in the first period. I didn't think they were as good the rest of the way. But tonight, they were good throughout. Other than that stretch of time when everybody was kind of on walkabout, but Blake turned the puck over right before the end of the period in 4-on-4. I mean, that line was just all over this game. And we see just how good a Blake can be. By the way, Blake, 3-game point streak, a goal and 3 assists. Taylor Hall, 2 goals, 3 assists to start the run in here after the Olympics. That's not bad. 5 points out of Taylor Hall. But that line has been so dominant. They will get the puck and they keep the puck. In many ways, that line plays a similar, not the same way, but has a similar effect as the Stahl, Martinook, Ehlers line does. Whereas they just keep burying you deep in your end, forcing you to defend. And when they lose the puck, they get it back. Stankoven didn't have a point tonight. He was excellent. Excellent. I would say this. I said the same thing earlier about both Jarvis and Svechnikov without points. Although Jarvis, I'm sorry, had an assist. He had the secondary assist on the Aho goal. Both Svech and Seth were excellent tonight. But, basically it wasn't a points night for them. And Aho was very good too. Aho won 8 of his 12 faceoffs. And to me, the goal he scores, just to get that pass all the way through is great, even though it ended up being Aho's goal. So you've got Freddie Andersen, the Stankoven line, which was awesome tonight. And you saw even for a short period, the fourth line was excellent. Jankowski, Robinson, and Carrier, they produced the goal that made it 3-0. It was a play started by Sean Walker, who stepped in front of a pass in the neutral zone, actually almost stumbled. Looked like he might have been tripped, but he kept his feet, bringing the puck into the offensive zone. He goes across to Carrier, then right to Robinson in the middle. The pass was a little bit behind him. So Robbie kind of stumbled around the puck, but ultimately got the puck around and then forced the puck through Talbot, and that made it 3-0. But that line was incredibly effective as well. And I heard Tripp saying it on the broadcast. He thinks that there isn't a team in the league that has 4 lines that all can contribute offensively like Carolina. I mean, it's true. I do think that Detroit has 4 good lines. Maybe not as good as Carolina, but I think Detroit has 4 lines that can score. I thought Carolina just quieted them down tonight. And then in the third period, we've talked about it, after the Canes got up then 5-2 early on, I think it was 14:30 when Blake scored to make it 5-2. They just put the airbags on. There was nothing. There was nothing for Detroit to do the rest of the way. Let's talk a little bit about Shayne Gostisbehere here. He had 0 points in his last 3 games, but he had 3 tonight. His 5th 3-point game of the season. He's a defenseman, right? His 5th 3-point game of the season. He's got 41 points in 42 games played. And he became Carolina's 10th player tonight with at least 10 goals. His 10th goal of the season tonight that made it 4-2. He becomes now the 10th player for Carolina to score at least 10 goals. They have 3 with at least 20. You've got Jarvis, Aho, and Svechnikov. By the end of the season, I think it will be interesting to see how many players can get to 50 points. I don't know if Carolina's going to have that many. I think Carolina's going to have a ton of guys between 35 and 50. Jackson Blake, I think, will get to 50. It'll be pretty close. Taylor Hall, probably closer to 40. But, I mean, one good stretch can get you pretty close. I think Ehlers definitely will get to 50. Obviously, the top 3 guys are basically there already. I mean, Aho's got, I think, 59 points in 59 games. So, it'd be interesting to see how many guys get to 50 points for Carolina, at least 50. But 10 players with at least 10 goals, I think we'll end the season with at least 2 with 30. Because I think Aho and Svechnikov are going to get pretty close, if not get it. Jarvis, I think, will get it. Nobody else will. But it'll be cool to see how many guys can get to 20 goals. I think Blake will. Jordan Stahl's got a chance, a little outside maybe, because he's got just 15. But it was Taylor Hall's 14th goal of the season tonight. So this depth is really, really impressive. And real quick, as you've heard me talk about what I believe Carolina needs, and I still believe what I believe. I'm not going to be swayed by anybody else's opinion when I watch what I watch. But I'm not sure the head coach shares my idea of getting a center to put in place of Logan Stankoven. Because I talked to Rod about it before the game, and maybe he is just posturing publicly to kind of take any pressure off or maybe create more leverage. But he loves the way Logan Stankoven is playing. And I will say this. I get why he loves it, because Stankoven has been playing beautiful hockey. But the way I look at it, when we get to the playoffs, Stankoven's profile just doesn't scream second scoring center to me. I just think it's going to be too easy to shut him down, especially when you go on the road. Maybe you go on the road, it opens the door for somebody else, but it's very possible that the Hurricanes search for a center, because I do think they need one, might be focusing more on getting a center to play on a fourth line. And we'll see. We shall see. But I still think that's what they need. But Rod, who I didn't ask him exactly where his head was at in terms of what they need, they're going on the road, by the way. They'll fly out tomorrow. I don't know if they practice or not, but they will fly out tomorrow afternoon, heading to Seattle. And Rod said, I still think there are a couple of areas we need to get better at. Not sure where he's talking, but it's very possible they could be looking for another goalie, could be looking for more defense, which I believe they should. Not necessarily anybody to play in front of the players that they've got, but options just in case you need to have some cover, NHL cover in the playoffs for injury. And with all respect to Charles Alexis Legault and Joel Nystrom and Mike Riley, I would rather see bigger bodies in the playoffs. That's just me. And again, I didn't get the specifics of what he thinks they need. And he's not going to tell me now anyway, because again, I think part of the reason why, at least I'm guessing, why Rod is so publicly happy with the way Stankoven has played, again, twofold. One, he has played really well. And the other is that if you say, yeah, we'd like to upgrade that position, everybody knows what you need. Although it might be obvious anyway. But that was an interesting part of our conversation pre-game today. Really, that's about it. I do want to real quick kind of look at the standings here. Carolina, again, who goes to Seattle and then Vancouver and then Edmonton and the Calgary. Did I just say the Calgary? Well, first, shouts to Pittsburgh, shouts to Climate Pledge Arena. Talia, she's going to the game on Monday. She says she has great seats. Excellent. Talia, take a picture from your seat and tweet it to me at A Gold Fan. During the game, send me a picture of you in your seat at Climate Pledge Arena. Bluefield, West Virginia, checking in. Cali Caniacs checking in. Charlotte checking in. Thank you very much. Hey, we're all digging the Hornets. I'm glad you guys are digging the Hurricanes. Canes, 82 points, 23 games remaining. 9 points clear of Pittsburgh. The Penguins do have a game in hand. Next home game, the 10th of March, against the Pittsburgh Penguins right here. They will play the Penguins. Penguins are on like a 5-game road trip, and it might even be 6. Carolina will be their first road game, I believe, and their last. I think they bookend, or it's pretty close to it, bookending the road trip. Pittsburgh will be here twice in about 10 days, and Carolina will play all 3 games against the Penguins in like a 17-day stretch, and it is very possible that they will not see Sidney Crosby at all in those 3 games. Islanders pulled even with Pittsburgh tonight with an overtime win. So both of them have 73 points. Could Carolina get out with not playing the Islanders or the Devils in the first round. It's usually the Islanders, the Devils, or Boston, right, in the first round of the playoffs. Anyway, so that's your top three in the Metro. Washington, who lost tonight in Montreal, is on 69 points. But remember, the Capitals only have 20 games left to play. So it's if the Capitals go 15-5, which, I mean, they're good enough to do it. That still only gets them to 99 points. That might not even make the playoffs. But they would have to go 15-5 just to get to 99 points. That is a tall ask. Columbus has 4 games in hand on Washington. They are 3 games behind them. Columbus with 66 points with 24 games left to play. Tampa's also got 24 games left, and now they trail Carolina by 2 points. Right now, Canes number 1 in the East, Tampa number 2. Buffalo has been amazing. Thought it was interesting. Those two teams played each other tonight. Think about this. Buffalo went into play tonight 23-5-2 in their last 30 games. 23-5-2. They're now 24-5-2. Tampa in their last 23 games before tonight was 22-1. Now 23-1. So Buffalo has been awesome, and Buffalo is just 4 points behind Tampa, but the Lightning have 4 games in hand on the Sabres, who have only 20 games remaining. Montreal's got 23 games left. They're on 75 points. I said this the other day. I think Montreal finishes second in the Atlantic. I think Buffalo finishes third. I think Detroit finishes fourth. I think Boston finishes fifth. That's the way I think it's going to shake out. So Carolina will either see Detroit or Boston, depending on whether Carolina is the 1 or the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Wildcard 1 would get the number 2 seed would get wildcard 1. The number 1 seed would get wildcard 2. Ottawa's only 5 points off the pace of Boston, so Ottawa is still in it. They won tonight, and both Ottawa and Boston each have 23 games left to play. Again, Washington's going to be tough for Washington to make the playoffs, but Columbus and Ottawa right now are, to me, the biggest challengers to the Bruins' final wild card spot. And the only reason I'm still thinking about Washington here is because I know they're good. And frankly, I would rather them not make the playoffs, but I know they're good. And it's going to be up to just see what Pittsburgh can do. How long can Pittsburgh hold the fort until Crosby gets back? They have won. They're 1-0-1 without Sidney Crosby. You can mitigate his loss for a short period of time, but he's going to be out a month. Can Pittsburgh minimize the damage for that month? Carolina was able to negotiate a long stretch without Jacob Slavin. That's a hard thing for Pittsburgh to do, but it was hard for Carolina to do, and they managed to do it. That'll do it for us. Dynamite game for Frederik Andersen. The Stankoven line was great. Big goals from Aho. Jackson Blake, dynamite. Shayne Gostisbehere continues to do his thing. And that'll do it for us. We'll see everybody late night. Gosh, can't believe that. After the Canes take on the Seattle Kraken. Monday night, the game starts just after 10. The podcast will probably start around 1:30. Yeah. I'm tired already. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, if it is for the exterior of your home. You can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. Check them out. aluminumcompany.com. See you Monday night.